have live stories with Vic Sethi. We are getting a very good response from live stories. People find it very inspiring. The last episode was of R.S. Purwal, someone who has achieved a lot, done a terrific amount of work for the community through the Punjab Times. Let's see what Mr. Vic Sethi has got in store for us.
I call it, this is how the God tested me, and if God is pleased, then He definitely look after His child as well.
With the help of God and blessing of God, all 5 brothers had different qualities.
It was definitely from scratch. I came with £1.50 only, and I went for this job. And
it's like running a small country. It's very challenging, but very interesting also.
And same time, they put us in to do part. That we must do part every day, because the faith, Babaji.
Oh, this is Vic Sethi. This is our dad, Vic Sethi.
I think the last time my dad made me laugh was today, because he just tells jokes about people, and he's always being like trying to be funny and all that. So that's why I like him.
Funny by being smiling and just telling jokes, and careful, care-loving, because he smiles and he doesn't normally tell you off. He just says don't do that, and he's caring like that.
The Businessman of the Year award present to Vic Sethi.
We'll go pick this back. This is the International Anand thing, and it's all gold. Company. This is Papa. This is Papa's brother Sayaji.
He's a dynamic person. In any environment, whether he's at home, he's within the community, he's with businesses, he just, attracts attention in terms of his enthusiasm and his zeal for doing things and making things happen is very infectious. And you automatically turn and say, well, hang on, let me listen to what he's saying. He makes sense, and he actually demonstrates that by doing it as well. Fantastic human being, very proud of his heritage and culture, but also recognizes what Britain's given him and wants to give back to society, and a fantastic role model, because I think a lot of people who make money in business and become very successful do not make the commitment to serving the community and the more disadvantaged within the community. So he's very passionate and does that, but also he believes in community cohesion, breaking down those barriers, and makes you feel at ease. So wherever he is, he'll talk about the communities, wants to share, and very much into community cohesion. And those are sort of like technical words that many of us use, but he just does it. He just comes from the heart, and that's the beauty of the man.
He's inspirational. He's always ready to help people, whatever their circumstances. So if you're on your knees, and you manage to get a message through to Vic, he'll certainly help you. There's loads of, I don't want to embarrass him particularly, but there's loads of situations here where there's someone who works here whose mother's very, very poorly in India, so Vic managed to arrange to get him a flight across very quickly to go and see his poorly mother, who has subsequently passed away, which was a real shame, but at least the individual here got to see his mum while she was still with us. So there's great situations like that Vic's an inspiration to us all. He's commercially very tough, but he also within he has a heart of gold, and he's able to sort of help out his employees when and if they can. It certainly puts them on the right track so they can succeed for themselves.
Dad goes to China and stuff like that. He's a really busy man, and it's quite funny because he always goes to work and he's still got time with us, which is cool and stuff. So yeah, remember when he played football with us last time and he won? That was really funny.
And he was about to put vinegar on our Nando's.
That was funny as well. Yeah. And yeah. Germany, China. He's been to loads of places, and even Kuwait. He used to live there.
Yeah, but he's still got time.
Yeah,
He tries to come home early.
Yeah.
He tries
We're lucky to have him. Yeah, we are very lucky. He's like,
and he suits
he wins so many awards, and he's such a busy man and
registry
stuff.
wedding, which we had in April.
That's
Does it look
when
different though?
yeah. That's when they're putting flowers on you after you're
'cause
married.
the room was upstairs, so as you come down, and then they've had
flowers.
flowers. Yeah. And
There's
then in
you
the
by
end, we had
yourself.
to go to the park and take photos in the park. And I think there is some at home as well. My name's Jaspreet Kaur Sethi, known as Dimple, nickname that my parents had given me. And how we met, Vic and I, well, people ask us, they say, well, was it arranged, was it love? And I said, well, it was a bit of both. It was a mixture. And it was amazing how we did meet, because I was at university studying my last year at Wolverhampton. Came home at the weekend like a normal student does at the weekend, and the family was really odd and strange. And my brother and my dad were just whispering all the time and making plans, and I'm thinking they're up to something. There's something really fishy around here and I don't like it. So in the end I said, Mum, something's wrong here, you've got to tell me what's up. And she says, well, I'm not supposed to tell you, but this is what we've got planned. We've met this gentleman and we'd like you to meet him. And it just so happened that Vic, it was his last week in England. He was going back home, or going back to Kuwait. And he met my parents at the shop, and they were happy with him. My brother was overwhelmed with him, saying, oh, what a lovely Sikh gentleman, and he's just the right height for Dimple as well. So why don't they meet and see if we can hit it off.
Well, loads of families talk to each other, and they're like, how did you two get married to my mum and dad? My mum and dad would always explain, and basically my grandpa met my dad, and he wanted to show my mum, but he never actually told her. So they went into a restaurant. My mum didn't even get to say anything, so they just fixed it like that. And my grandpa had just gone to the toilet at that time, but he came back and he found out that everything was fixed, and he was so happy after that. And my grandpa was having a word with my mum to make sure everything was alright, but my grandpa, he was fine with it. He knew that my dad was like the right person to marry my mum.
So they told me, I said, Mum, no way, no chance. I'm going to get my degree, that's what you want, and I want to find a job. And they says, look, we're just looking, and that's all it is, just looking and nothing else. I says, okay, and I agreed, because obviously I owe it to my parents, and it's something that I think I deserve to give them. If they've asked me for something, there isn't a moment that I've actually said no to them, so why should I say it this time? So I was like, okay, played along with it. We met at the Gurdwara, East Park Road Gurdwara in Leicester. They came along, and he came along on a Sunday afternoon after work in his scruffy jeans and shirt, and he was short. And I said to my mum, I looked at a distance, I said, Mum, he's too short for me. And she says, well, look at yourself in the mirror. And it's just, I was finding excuses to say no. It was just little excuses, and I thought, that's it, and there's just no chance I'm going to marry this guy. In the end, we went to a restaurant, sat together, and we just took it off from there, and we started chatting, and Vic's very talkative. He can talk about anything with anyone, it doesn't matter who it is. And we hit it off, we started talking and carrying on, and then he actually mentioned that he was going back to Kuwait for good, and he had no intentions of getting married in England, because the Sikh girls in England were not the type that he expected. He came to Leicester once and he saw girls standing outside a college, and they were smoking, and it wasn't what he wanted. And he says, the atmosphere I'm in England, it's not one that I like. And I says, yeah, I can understand your point. And that's it. We just, and I said, look, we've talked to each other, and that's it. Do you have any plans? He goes, oh, no, I'm going back to Kuwait, that's it. And I says, well, are you going to give a reply right now? Because I know your uncle is with you right now, and your cousins. And he goes, oh, no, we're just going to go back home, and they'll speak over the phone. And I said, because it sounds nice for you to come from your side, you say a no rather than me saying a no. He says, yeah, that's fine. So we went back to our table where my parents were there, and Vic's uncle from Manchester and his cousins were there. and we started eating, and then Vic's uncle said, "Fir beta, tera ki jawab hai?" Astonished, how dare somebody ask me that over the table, over a piece of naan and sabji there, and he's asking me a question like this. And I thought, no, and I could feel myself going bright red here, so I just took it lightly, and I just, as an Indian girl does, I just put my head down and said, carried on with my food. And he approached Vic, asked the same question, and he says, because he was rushing him, because the time was very short, and he knew deep down that Vic could do well in this country. It's inspiration. So he asked Vic, and Vic, he said, smiled and put his head down as well. So we carried on eating, and we thought, please, not again, not again. Once again, the question rose again, and Baba Uncle asked again, and he says, "Tera ki jawab hai bete? I need to know." So as not thinking straight, or not looking at anyone, I nodded my head, and I said, "Yes." And I carried on eating, and didn't realise what I had done, what I had said. And obviously it was like, oh, mithai, khushkhabri. We got home, and the first thing I said to my parents, have I done the right thing? Because I wasn't too sure. And my parents said, look, you can decide, you can think, we're not forcing you into it. And you can see him again, you can talk to him on the phone, we don't mind, but you have a think. We're not forcing you down to marriage. And which we did. We spoke to each other on the phone, and we said, look, I think we have to meet up again. And we met alone, and we hit it off. I think Vic is the type of person that once you meet him, you don't get bored. You never get bored, and you just keep meeting, and you've always got something else to talk about, and a new subject, or and we hit it off, and we met a couple of times, and behind our parents' back as well. So, but it went really well.
Yeah, you okay? Come on. Shall we go higher? Yeah! Yeah, let's go higher. Higher and higher. Here we go. Whoa! Whoa! That's brilliant. Well done. Are you not scared? No? Are you spinning? Come on, spin. Make sure you don't get hurt. Don't hurt yourself. Come on. That's it. Hey, well done. Hey.
There was a time when after we got married, I remember Mum saying, "Tusi bachchiyan nu sambhalo ya dukaan sambhalo." There's only one thing you can do. But it was like, because I had Mum there, I had my parents, they could look after the kids. I could take responsibilities, and it was either the shop or the kids, but I chose both. I mean, you can do mix and mingle, which I tried. And the shop means the world to me now. To me, it's something, it's Dad's dream, it's Dad's baby, he brought it up, so why can't I continue that? I mean, people move on, they find bigger places, bigger properties, or, we've been on that road for, I'd say, around 40 years, and it's the Golden Mile. Melton Road is the Golden Mile, and we've been brought up there in that area, and why should we move from there? It's... Are we going to show ourselves down if we're in a little shop? Or no. I want to keep that for my parents, and I want to continue that as much as I can.
Well, this bed was like the late stage of my grandpa, because he really didn't want to stay in hospital. He wanted to be with the family and close. We're all so close. So we bought a bed, NHS bed here. And there's a machine here, and it always used to beep, so one of us would always run in and stop it beeping, and the kids would always come in and say goodnight to Papa when we go to sleep or something. Or sometimes we used to lie in this room, and someone would always be in this room, even if there's a nurse here to look after Papa. Papa and Vicky Daddy invited us to Shilpa Shetty, Trina. Do you remember that day?
And remember when it was Karina's birthday, we did a dance for her?
Yeah. I miss Papa with loads of people. But we've left this bed because we don't really want to let go of it, because this is Papa's. He was used to stay here, and this reminds us of him. My dad would come in, he would say goodnight, he would always do madhatik to him and massage his legs every night, and he would always make sure he's okay. Do you want any water, do you want anything like that? And he would make sure that he didn't need anything, and he would always bring it if he did need anything.
Not auntie, am I?
You're not auntie.
What am I? Mimi. The kids, obviously, because we're in a family, and the kids, we all have a name. So Tarina, I am her Mimi, and she's got Vicky Daddy and Harjot Daddy, and he's got Harjot Mama Ji and Vic Daddy. And then in Canada, they've got Rani Mama, Pali Papa. And in Kuwait, we've got Mummy Ji and Daddy Ji. So everyone's got a name, and Mum at home is Mama.
Do you ever get confused, kids?
No, never.
So you never get confused?
I never get confused.
That's good. Yes. So that is Daddy's and Harjot Daddy's mother and father, isn't it? So that's again your grandparents. So how many grandfathers and grandmothers you've got?
We have got 3 grandmas and 3 granddads.
You're very lucky. You're going to sing?
If we could let flames swing.
Hands up. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we go. That's it. Whoa. Whoa. Retired. Lucky you. So all those bridges you build and everything. And this place keeps us grounded because obviously we feel that this is our roots. When we meet different community people here, we try to get them together. Whether it's Christians, Muslims, Hindus, we have every type of person walking in here, and everyone knows that we are very, very neutral. We are very neutral with everyone. We treat them all. We get invited to weddings, whether it's in mosque, whether it's in temples, and they feel us being a part of them. There was even a wedding, one of our Muslims friend locally got married, his daughter got married, and he says to Dad and me that I want you guys to come because your father is my father. And when we went at the wedding, he told his daughter, here's your grandfather. He'll be the first one standing and walking with you. And that's how they treated us. And this is where we try to find neutral grounds and get people together. Melton Road, this place here means a lot to me because obviously this is where my father-in-law, Mr. Rajwant Singh Anand, started his career from. Wherever we are today in England, this is where what it's involved. He came into Leicester in early 70s. And he set up this place as a small electronic shop where he used to import things and sell things. And obviously since then, the children joined in and took the business up with him as a teamwork. We lost him last year, and it means so much to me because this is where he was very active, communicating and mixing up with every person who walked in here. No matter whether rich or poor, he would mingle with everyone, and he would love his camera, he would take pictures, he would never shake hands, but he would hug them, no matter who they were. And we miss him so much today that we feel that every minute we've got, we'd rather come here and spend that time and fulfill his gap, so people still feel that he's still around with them and he's never ever gone, and we'll never want to feel that he's ever gone. He's always with us. Our turning point was when we lost our father. Until we didn't lose our father, he used to be more based here. He never wanted to be into our offices or the headquarters because he felt this is everything. He used to always, in fact, tell us that you guys also should spend more time here because this is the reality. And we always said, no, we want those offices, we want our staff to be there, committed in our business and this and that. But since we've lost him, we realized this is the truth. The real humanity exists here. The people we meet day to day is really what we need long term. Money is not everything. When tomorrow anyone's in trouble, or even tomorrow we might be in trouble, these are real friends here. There was a time when my wife at the moment handles this place. She is fully committed here. There was a time when we decided that we'll computerize this place and get staff to run it and ask her to move in with us in our corporate offices. And she literally cried. She says there's no way. Even if we bought her a palace to work from and have 100 people working for her, she would not want to come out of this place because Dad's memories are so alive here that she is committed. She says if Dad was alive today, he would never move out of here. And she wants to carry that on.
people who come into the shop and who've been coming, it's generations. We had grandparents coming, we had the sons coming, and now we have their grandchildren coming and shopping in here. They feel that this shop is a part of their own. Everyone who works here or who comes to shopping here feels that this is a part of them, it's a part of their family. No matter, even if they could buy something cheaper elsewhere, they would still want to come and talk to us, and they feel like they're home. They would come and talk about all their sorrows, all about their family lives, personal lives. And Dad used to spend time listening to them. He would take them to the office, sit with them and listen to them and see how he could give them solutions. And that's what we are trying to do. If you look at outside the building, the other initiative we done was we took every sports club of Leicester, which is hockey, cricket, basketball, football. We put everyone's logos on the signpost in the middle of Melton Road to tell the community that there is no white, there is no black, we all are one. And we have to contribute to the community back in different ways, whether it's by money or whether it's by doing seva in there or servicing. I mean, I'm very fortunate, obviously, as I said earlier, that I have 3 parents. I have 3 fathers, 3 mothers. That's basically my own parents who are in Kuwait, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and then my brother-in-law's father-in-law and mother-in-law. We treat them as one family. We are so close knit together that there is no difference. Our parents are like brothers and sisters. And since childhood, they've always told us, children, always, whatever you do, stay humble. Never forget where we started from. We came with nothing, and this is not only we, but even as practical Sikhi teaches us that we come in this world without anything and we're going to go without anything. But what we can leave behind is some good memories and good things we do. And that way we are never gone from this world, we're always there. Future generation at the moment, obviously our children are very young. Our eldest is my daughter, who is 14 now. My son's 10, going to be 11, and then I have my brother-in-law's daughter, who is also my daughter. We treat all our children as our own children. So the daughter's 7, one's going to be 3 now. So the children are young, but they are connected to this place as well. No matter what happens, when they are on holiday or something, always one of the childs at every day will want to come in this place and try to help and work in this and mingle with the customers and clients who come in, because they feel that this is like their own house basically, and this is how we were brought up,
I like this shirt. I like sugar. I like sugar like YG.
The main thing is what we have to have is we have to have faith in our heart that God is everywhere. He does exist, whether good or bad. Sometimes things happen late, sometimes things happen early, but we should never forget that He's always with us. Only thing we don't know how to do is how to communicate with Him. If we can communicate with Him, He is with us all the time. If people ask me this when I was a young child, I might have not have the answer for it. I would always say, now, there's no such thing as God. Whatever I've got to do myself. But He is there. I've lived a lot of my life alone. When I was sent to uni in the UK, when I came to work in this country, I lived alone. And believe me, being alone, there were so many dreams I had in my life. I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. And I'll tell you, there's nothing that's not happened. Money was not what bought it. When I was a child, as I said from the start, I was a big fan of Prince Charles. How many people would love to meet him? I've just come in this country in 91. But I was given the opportunity where they've invited me to the palace, and we met up with him and Her Royal Highness Camilla. At the same time, I was very fortunate. I thought to myself, the Queen's getting older. Will I ever meet Her Majesty the Queen? And look at that. One fine day, I get a call from the management of Guru Nanak Gurudwara saying the Queen is coming and visiting the first Sikh temple in England. And out of everyone, we have selected Mr. Anand, my father-in-law, and myself to come and be there as a part of that, being business and community leaders. So I was very fortunate. That dream came true. When I came in this country, I thought, I wish one day, because obviously we're starting from scratch again, one day I wish I could drive a Mercedes again. And it's just like flick of an eye, got married, started working hard, and here we are, not one, not two. He's blessed us with so many cars, and now that passion is all over. You feel like you wanted it, He's always given it to you. And now obviously time has come when I feel like going out there And it's not only me, the whole family going out there and praying to God that whatever you blessed us with, bless everyone with it. Anyone who has got dreams, help him, get them with it. And I'll tell you, really, as long as you're involved with your faith and you have the faith of God, there's nothing impossible in this world. It's basically hundreds and thousands of batteries we sell a year. And it's very scary where these batteries go. We just don't know how they are, used. But it's scary to know that how many batteries you sell a year. I mean, I personally don't use that many in my own house. I must be putting some batteries in a remote control and that's it. But it's a massive consumption. Batteries is shocking the way it goes. And then there's different brands. It's not only just one brand. You got Duracell, you got Energizer, you got Panasonic, you got Eveready, you got Sony, you got Memorex. We do all these brands. And whatever we do, we try to be number one in what we are. Otherwise, we won't touch the product. What I've done is recently is about 7 months ago, something came in my mind that how can we encourage youngsters and other people to join and understand what a Khalsa is or what Sikhi is, to get them back into it. But I felt that we are forgetting one thing. Guru Gobind Singh Ji was the ruler of rulers, Maharaja of Maharajas. He was higher than anyone, but no one really yet knows of him in other communities or anywhere. So what I did, I called a person who was not a Sikh, who was a Tamil. He was a student at the Leicester University. I called him in, and he was an artist. And I said, look, I want you to design me an emblem which basically we could dedicate to the Sikhs. And what I did was I sat with him and I, for days and days, explained him and told him different stories of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. I also gave him some reference websites where he went in and he started doing research on Guru Gobind Singh Ji. At the end, he designed a beautiful emblem where we sat together and worked for hours on it, in which obviously we have got on the emblem, on the start of the emblem, head of the emblem, we have a Kalgi. If you look at the historically, every Mughal emperor from the Sikh, from Guru Gobind Singh Ji, everyone who is the head or the king has got a Kalgi on the head. That represents that you are a king of a state. And then obviously we've got the Pagri, which we named it as Sartaj. Sartaj means the crown of the head. Today's day's crown you have to take off no matter what sport you're playing or what you're going to do. But a Pagri never comes off. It always stays on, representing you as the king or queen. And then obviously on one side we've got the lion, because obviously Guru Gobind Singh Ji, when he made us a Sikh, when he made us a Khalsa, he baptized us, we become the lions and the women were the lioness. And obviously there's a picture, there's a logo of a lion, and on one side is a logo of an eagle or a bird, where it shows, because when the Amrit was being prepared, there were some birds, sparrows, which drank that nectar, and they then started vigorously fighting with the hawks, and they got the power and the energy of the strongest creatures, and that shows how much power there is in that. So we've got that on the other side. In the middle, obviously, we've got the Khanda, our main symbols, and then we've got the Ik Onkar, that is one God, which which is the first alphabet of our Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book. At the bottom, obviously, it says the Khalsas, which is our Panth, created by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and then at the bottom is engraved His Majesty Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And at the bottom then you got 10 stars, which represent 10 prophets, and the last star's got a shine and it's bigger, showing that Guru Gobind Singh Ji was our 10th prophet. The reason I created that is that when you walk around and you give this card to people, they look at it and they don't realize, that you've come from a kingdom where there's another king which they've never heard of. So they ask you who it is, and that's the talking point where we tell the other people Guru Gobind Singh Ji is the king of kings, he's the ruler of rulers. If you don't know, you can do a search on the Google or something and you will learn more about him. And that was one basic way I thought of promoting Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Family life is very important, children are very important, business means a lot to us, and what we want to make sure is that we balance it right, we maintain it. And being a big family, being a joint family, these are the advantages you can get, that when you're such a strong, tied up family, you could do various things at the same time without really unbalancing anything out of the equation. You could run a business, you could run charities, you can run your family at the same time, because we got so many people involved in the family that when I go out to do anything it doesn't affect the business at the background, because I know I've got my brother there. If I'm in the office, my brother can go out, it doesn't affect the business. Same way likewise in the shop. If my wife or myself want to go on a holiday, being such a big family, there's someone else to look after it and manage it. At the same time, if I'm traveling on business trips internationally, I've got nothing to worry about at the back, because I know we're being a joint family. Our children are being looked after. They've got grandparents, they've got mother, father, they've got brothers, sisters, everyone there. So it really makes a difference, and I think that is the main message we want to portray to everyone, that the closer you are, the more joint you are, the more benefits you can have and the more enjoyment you can have in life. You can do wonders if you were together, and obviously it's good to be together. In the start you don't feel it. We all are youngsters. When we get married, we like to have our own privacy, apartments, house, this, that. But as things progress in life, when we start having children and this and that, that's the time we realize we could do with helping hands. As our parents get older, they need help. We want to be with them at the time. That's the time we realize, gosh, we should be together. They need us today. Because if we look back, when we were children, when we were kids, our parents held our hands and taught us how to walk. They put us into education. Wherever we are today, we shouldn't think it's us who've done it. It's thanks to our parents who have basically done everything for us. And how could we just suddenly leave them today and think, they can lead their life, we can live our life, we are successful? No, we are not. We are nothing. If it wasn't to our parents, to our elders, we wouldn't have been where we are today.
I originally met the late Mr. Anand, and I've known the family since then. And knew Dimple, Vic's wife, when she was very young, coming from school, and I'd see her in the shop. So little did I realize that I'd know her later on when she married this dashing young man, Vic. And obviously used to pop into the shop. And then I joined the Princess Trust. And so looking for people who would support the work that we do in terms of sponsoring the various events that we hold. And 4 years ago, I had a call from Vic, and he said, well, I know about the trust. I'd like to meet you to see how I can help, which was very unusual, because normally we are the ones, when you're working in a charity, you're chasing people up in terms of, well, can you support the organization? So this was like a pleasant surprise. And so obviously met Vic, and he then learnt of my relationship with his with the late Mr. Anand. And so he was very keen to know about the work that we did, and why the organization was set up. So obviously introduced him to the history in terms of the Prince Charles had set up the charity in '76, and had grown substantially from having just volunteers to employing well over 700 people, helping over 40,000 young people. And he said, well, how do you want me to help? And obviously I felt, well, this is super, this is good. And we explored various avenues, and one of them was that we were holding our regional awards event, and I was running short of sponsors. And he kindly agreed to sponsor one of the awards, and from then on we just developed the relationship. He's amazing in the sense that he's very modest. He doesn't really sell himself that well, because he just wants to keep quiet about what he does. But he's a very passionate man. I would describe him as probably a serial entrepreneur. So when you talk to him and then you find out he's involved in this business, he set up this.
What we have is, while we're doing all this, we also took over brands. What we do is we license them for certain years, as long as we can keep doing them. This time we've got the Hyundai brand, which we have a license to. So that means basically, excluding cars, we can go anywhere in the world and select products for our clients and brand them as Hyundai. And obviously this is a treaty between Hyundai Corporation of Korea, who do the cars, and ourselves. So we work very closely with them for the UK and the European market. Again, we can go anywhere in the world. It's up to us what we want to import, but we import it under the Hyundai brand. Before we were doing Hyundai, we had Daewoo International, which we still have a running company, and we brand everything under Daewoo brand. We used to brand everything under Daewoo brand, but then obviously when we got Hyundai, we left that and we've gone to Hyundai. And we are at the moment in negotiations with 1 or 2 big brands as well now for other products like batteries and blank media and CDs. So when time is right, we'll come up with those names as well. But these are again big brands we're working on, and hopefully by God's grace, within the next 2 months we should tie them up.
He also is very supportive of young entrepreneurs. He wants to talk about, the positive sides of how you actually start your businesses, facing those challenges, and he actually talks the walk. In the sense, he will talk what needs to be done, but he'll actually walk with you, and that is very unusual amongst many people who will actually give you the advice, but then let you sort of drift wherever the currents take you. But he actually supports young people and is very passionate in that. But also, I think he's very passionate about Sikhism in terms of the work that he does and the contribution they make to the community.
I like this shirt. I like sugar. I like sugar like YG.
Anyone who has got dreams, help him, get them with it. And I'll tell you, really, as long as you're involved with your faith and you have the faith of God, there's nothing impossible in this world. People always say that in this world, in this life, there's nothing impossible, but you got to have the faith and you need to walk that way. And our Guruji has always taught us, you walk 2 steps to me, I'll walk 8 steps. But come on, start somewhere. And once you start, it's a different fun. We'll forget all these pleasures of life. This is a different pleasure we get when we sit in Simran, Naam, when we do our part. It's completely different. And when we see our kids growing into that, it gives us more happiness. There was a time I used to love to go on holidays with my wife or with other friends and enjoy life. But today's date, if my children, I see them enjoying a holiday, that's enjoyment for me. I don't need an enjoyment. Looking at my children enjoying, it makes me internally satisfied.
And it was only last year I was with Vinod Popat from Central TV and in Nottingham, and he said to me, well, I want to do some story on a Sikh member living in the East Midlands, and the challenges that he's faced, but also in terms of the contribution that they're making to the society. And they were going to India. Vic actually, and so I mentioned that to Vic. I said, well, Vic, would you be interested in this? He said, of course I would be. He flew to India at his own expense and went to the Golden Temple. Obviously, Rajiv interviewed him there, and that sort of demonstrates somebody's commitment, that you would actually, you've got your business commitments, yet if there's something that promotes the community, that raises awareness of people's contribution in terms of the community, he's prepared to go and do that. And that you don't normally find. And you'd see people who do bits and bobs. And so in a sense, it's a privilege knowing him. And he's always got ideas about what could be done. And that is, and sometimes it makes you think, well, why did I not think about it? And that's fascinating. And I think that's because his business background. So he's always looking at new opportunities, but he looks at in terms of business terms, but also in the community. He set up his businesses and he wants to share part of his proceeds with the charities that he supports. And that's very much genuine.
When my father-in-law started the business as Anand International, this is going back a long time back, we started from batteries, and we've always been doing batteries up to today. So we've grown the empire from what he started with, building on his name. He had a fantastic reputation in the market for whatever he did, and it was always brands. So Panasonic, we started in batteries ages ago, and we're still very strong with Panasonic. We have very good connections with them. And there's one thing we teach our suppliers, that we only believe in marriage and no divorce. Once we've married someone, we will never ever divorce them. So they'll always be on our supply list, and we'll always work together in partnership. So obviously Panasonic, we are the key distributors in the UK, #1 distributors. Duracell, we are the largest distributors for Duracell as well in the UK, which today is owned by Procter & Gamble, P&G, Germans. But a very strong brand, #1 brand in the UK market, and we distribute it to major retailers, wholesale cash and carries, and so on. And you can see the variation of batteries from normal household batteries to digital, camera batteries to rechargeables, chargers. We do everything, and this is obviously the latest torch range come out, for this year. We've done very well with the torches as well. So it's a fantastic business, And then obviously in competition to Duracell, you've got the Energizer brand, but again, we are their distributors as well, because we've got certain customers who will buy Duracell, certain Energizer, certain buy both. So again, we do the full range. Anything we do, we will support the whole range of the company, not just one or two loss leaders. We'll make sure we cover everything. So this is where our business base started from. While we were doing this in the traditional periods, we were also doing videotapes and audio tapes. But today, it's a funny era. My brother-in-law's daughter, about a few weeks back, saw audio tape, and she held it in her hand, and she says, "Dad, what is this?" And we were shocked that she doesn't know what an audio tape is, and we were selling these in millions and millions. But that shows you how things have changed now, diversified. So obviously videotape. Now TDK brand, we have always been with them from day one, and we are still the strongest with them, and it's like a partnership with them. TDK is owned by a company called Emation now. So we've got TDK, Emation, HP, and Memorex all under one company, and they all own those brands, and we distribute their products. JVC Media, we are exclusive distributors for JVC in the UK and Ireland. So JVC obviously sells all through ourselves into multiples, internet companies, professional market, and everywhere. We go further on, you can see from videotape we then went into media, which is DVDs, CDs, and so on. And then we've got the brand Verbatim, and this is where in fact our media business started from. Verbatim was a very strong brand. I've been dealing with Verbatim in the Middle East, in Kuwait, a stronghold, a nice name, and they are the pioneers. They are the Rolls Royce of the CDs and of whole media, blank media. But in the UK, what they were more business to business, and I wanted to see them on the shelf of the retail. So I approached them at one of the exhibitions. And I said, "Look, guys, we want to sit down together, do a deal with you that we want to see you guys on the retail, shelves." And the reply back I got from one of the sales managers was that they're not interested in retail because they make more profit on B2B, and their packaging is not made and designed for retail. So they just gave up and finished it. A few weeks later, I called the sales director, called Ron Stewart, and I explained to him that, "Look, we are very interested to put this on the shelves. If you're selling X amount, we are ready to sell in millions a week for you." And they told that they're doing about 10,000 or 5,000 a month, and we said we want to do millions a week or something with you. And obviously they had the interest then, and with that interest, the first store we ever listed these on the shelves was Jessop's. They were the ones to list the DVDs, the first DVDs on the shelf of the store, and that's how this expanded. And today they are number one. If you walk into Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Dixon's, PC World, you will see Verbatim everywhere. Very professional, and we are proud to say we carry the full range of Verbatim, and we are the largest European distributors for the brand. Obviously, we all know media is on decline at the moment because of things like the USB memory sticks and the solid state memory, the hard drives, USB hard drives. So obviously they have to diversify in other things as well. So what they did was they've come out with headphones, earphones for iPods. They've come up with gaming products like gaming mice, and so on. We also do a lot of the Verbatim external hard drives now as well, pocket size and desktop. And that's how they've diversified from the media. So we're doing media as well, but we are expanding the range on this side as well. Very professional. And what's good is that in our trade, in our industry, when we started batteries and tapes during that time, none of those distributors have really gone into this market. And we've made sure, because of our commitments, because of our family ties, we are so many in a team that everyone's doing their own bit and bringing new ventures in, and that's how we're expanding into other areas, other fields, other markets. And that's why some of the retailers love what we're doing, because every time the technology moves on, they know they can expect that from us. While we were doing all that, we also then saw there was a gap in the market on PC peripherals. These are things like keyboards and mice and hubs and all that. It costs a lot of money to bring these in because you've got to create your own toolings, you've got to create your own product range. Every country has got a different keyboard layout. We got Eurosign, Germans have got German keyboard, French have got French. Hebrew is in 2 languages in Israel. In the Arab world, you've got the Arabic. So what we did was basically one of our suppliers in Taiwan who was supplying us with an exclusive brand called i1 geared up with us, and we started a brand called Perix. We started this brand from Germany. It's done very successfully in Germany, and then obviously we took it from there into France to Switzerland to Sweden, and at the end UK was the last market we brought them into. You can see we do keyboards which could be retailing at $5.99 up to a keyboard which could retail at $99.99, £100. We do wireless technology keyboards. We do a keyboard as small as this unit here, which you can see. This is a wired version, and we also do a Bluetooth version on this. which can go in a car dashboard, because it's very small, because the future computers will be in your cars at the back, so you could be sitting back controlling, going on internet, playing games, doing all your business profiles. So you need keyboards which can fit into your car, car dashboards and all. So we've really geared up for all that. We have, keyboards which are in metal with backlight, so at night time if you're on MSN or you're something, you don't need lights on, you've got keys lighting up in the background. We've got touch keyboards which are Bluetooth or wireless, so if you're using a lot of your notebooks when you come home, you don't want to sit on a normal keyboard, so these are all Bluetooth. You just connect the Bluetooth in and away you go. So this is what we specialize in. We make sure that every 3-4 months we got something new in this, so it keeps the whole range refreshed.
And this is your brand?
Yeah, this is a joint brand between us and one of our German suppliers. We work together, and you can see in the mice as well, we bring different colors all the time. We keep changing designs, and trial and errors on different colors, design, and it really helps because obviously in this market you've got to be seen moving on all the time.
You got plenty of things for the girls.
Yes, pink. This was something we started ages ago. We started with Jessops, in fact, bringing in pink USB sticks, pink keyboards. We started with Superdrug when we were supplying them with pink products as well, pink disposable cameras. So pink became a very big fashion for us, and it's become a color we have to include in our range a lot of times.
And the girls at your house probably love it.
Oh, they love it. Yeah, they love the pink color. They love the mini mice. They love to play with that, and you can see the USB is so small, tiny. It just fits in your laptop. You don't have to take it out after that. Just the whole laptop goes in a bag, so you don't lose it. And so on. So this is there, and then obviously there's a German brand called Conceptronics. We're also their exclusive distributors in the UK. Again, very similar range, mice, speakers, but the extras to this is obviously things like the notebook power supplies, routers, wireless printer, routers, hubs, and so on. So it's completely a different range to what we do there. It's more expanded, and you'll find these on Amazon and everywhere else. So that's doing okay. And obviously when we come out of that side, the latest venture which we have now gone into is we've developed a division of one of our companies called Harvey Brothers Europe. Harvey Brothers, very English, doesn't sound Asian at all. We kept that name because it's different and it's linked with the food market. And this is our first product where we started with distribution of marshmallows. We call them candy berries. We have different flavors in them. As you can see, we've got chocolate, apple, strawberry, watermelon, which is in 2 different colors, 2 different flavors. We've also got a sour mango, which we changed from the Ampapar in India to an English version, and people love that as well. And now we're trying off 1 or 2 minty taste products, which are also going to be coming from the Far East. So this has done very well. It's proven great success because when you walk into places like W.H. Smith's on the motorway services, I didn't know people love marshmallows. A lot of people have them for breakfast. They put them in their coffee or tea. It also is a substitute of sugar, and it fills them up. And people, you go on W.H. Smith's in services and you ask them for marshmallow. It takes them 10 minutes to find it because there's only 1 or 2 things they've got in there. But if you ask for Walker Crisps, you can't miss it. It's the whole thing there. So that's what made us bring such a big range, that no matter who lists this, you cannot miss the marshmallows when you enter a supermarket or a store.
So ਜਿੱਥੇ ਇਹਨੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਖਿਆ, ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਲਈ ਇਹਨੇ ਮਿਹਨਤਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, ਉੱਥੇ ਨੇ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੂੰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਨਾਲ ਰੱਖਿਆ। ਔਰ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਬਈ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੰਥ ਕੌਮ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਵੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਅੰਕਲ ਜੀ ਦੱਸੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ। ਔਰ 5000 ਨਿਤਨੇਮ ਦੀਆਂ DVDs ਇਹਨੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਬਈ ਮੈਂ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਵੰਡਾਂਗਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਕਰੋ ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੰਡ ਦਿਓ ਫ੍ਰੀ।
My name's Ian Davidson. I'm the commercial director of Harvey Brothers Europe, which is a relatively new business. Started here in Leicester in January 2010. And my job is to handle all the sales, marketing and commercial issues of the business. So I source products that we work with. I take them out to trade. I approach our customers and I work with our brand owners to help them get their products to market from our warehouse here in Leicester. 26,000 square foot of warehouse space, so we've got quite a lot of space. So we generally get products from smaller manufacturers and add it to our range and then take it to all sections of the UK grocery trade who then buy our products. So we're the sales, marketing and distribution arm for smaller companies who want to get their product out to a wider audience. I work with Vic. Vic is obviously Daewoo International, and he's given me the platform to work here. So we're using his warehouse and his infrastructure, but Harvey Brothers Europe is essentially our business, and I do all the sales, marketing, and the commercial work. And Vic serves as like a mentor. We have meetings maybe once a week for half an hour, and I'm sort of able to get guidance from him on sort of the markets that we should approach. So he doesn't work day to day with me, but he acts as a sort of a mentor, like a brother, if you like.
Behind every success, there's other people involved, and what I am, where I am today, it's not just me. Obviously, as I've always said, the first thing is, the blessings of the Almighty, Vaheguruji, Allah, Ishwar, whatever names you can give, it's with His blessings. Then obviously the blessings of our elders, my 3 parents, which I'm fortunate to have. My father, mother in Kuwait, Mr. and Mrs. Sethi, my father, mother in the UK, in Leicester, Mr. and Mrs. Anand, and my father, mother in Canada, Montreal, Pali Papa and Rani Mama. And then obviously my friends and the people who've held my hand throughout my life career, the management, my team in the warehouse, who've always, because of whom I'm standing here today. And obviously a lot of it goes to my Mamaji, who is Babu Anand in the warehouse you've met, Harjot Anand, my brother-in-law, and my mother-in-law, my mother at home, who's blessed me with all this, what I've done in life. And obviously not forgetting my wife, who's also my biggest backbone, because without her I couldn't do what I'm doing in life. She looks after the children, about their education, and she gives me the opportunity to go out and help others. So thanks to all of them, and obviously and all the other people linked in my life, Mr. Kohli, Jaswinder Singh Kohli of Manchester, where I started my career, who caught my hand and got me into his company and said, Vic, start your life from here. My Puaji's husband, Mr. Sani in Kuwait, who's unfortunately passed away today, he held my hand as soon as I finished my education, and he says, Vic, come on in, let's start computers. So he was a good starter, and he's the one.
मैं परसों बादला